Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Wealth Wednesday and it is September 16th. I'm very grateful to be here with you this morning. And today we've got a wonderful trainer. I'm excited for whatever he has to share with us. Daine has been in Renatus now, I believe, for almost 5 years, and he has created a lot of success for himself and his family using the Renatus system. Before Renatus, he was working 2 jobs. He was working for Apple as well as he was a roofer. At Apple, he was in the back. He was actually kind of shy. And, typically you're out on the floor selling cell phones, and he was counting cell phones in the back to give you an idea. And as a roofer, with fair skin, red hair, being in the sun all day was not his cup of tea. And that's because that's what his dad did. So he fell into roofing. And at the time, he was barely making ends meet. He started looking for other income opportunities and found Renatus. He plugged into the Renatus system and listened to his mentor. He applied Velocity Banking to pay down debt and was using that as leverage as a down payment for a duplex, where he lived in one side and rented out the other side. If we fast forward to today, Daine has now raised over $14 million from investors to lend on various real estate transactions. His secret is consistency and frequency. And he shares his secrets with us every single Wednesday morning, so tune in and take notes. Daine has grown his team. He's a PIT team member, meaning he's in training to be on the PAC, the President's Advisory Council, and our CEO, Bob Snyder, recognizes Daine as a key leader. We are fortunate to have him as our trainer this morning. Good morning, Daine. How are you?
Good morning, Keely. So good to hear from you. Good morning, everybody. Let me see. I'm just looking at all the faces here. Gilda, Lily, Bilal. Good morning, Bobby. Good morning, Autumn, Marsha, Melissa. Oh, good morning, you guys. Good morning, Renatus Nation. Thank you so much, Keely, for that introduction every single week, as always. How are you doing, by the way? How's the weather down there?
Well, when Utah and Colorado got some snow, we got 70 degrees, so that was really nice.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, you guys are lucky down there. But I guess I don't enjoy the 110. But awesome.
We have 66
well,
over here where I'm at.
Where are you at, Gilda?
I'm actually in suburb of Chicago. So I'm about an hour from 3030 northwest.
Oh, nice.
But it's been very nice this week. This week has been really nice.
Yeah, in the 60s. That's a really
supposed
nice.
to be 80
I
today.
bet you're hanging out like outside.
80.
80? Oh man,
80 is the high.
Yeah, I love the September month.
Yes.
I guess in Utah, but we're the places that have 4 seasons. I guess I love the September month. So it's just hanging out outside the whole time. Oh yeah, look at that. Deborah Brick, 86 today in SoCal. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. So you guys know the drill. Let's hear it. I want to know, how many people did you see? Did you have to an event? Did you get to an intro? Did you how many people saw the follow-up, a house tour, a one-on-one? That's the one that I track. That's the one I can that's the one I can directly connect to my income. How many one-on-ones do I do every single week is the number that I track. In fact, as I'm talking, I'll pull that up as I've got people chiming into the chat. And that second aspect, and I say this every week just in case I got some new people, but I keep myself accountable and I report how many people I meet with every single week to a group of people. And one nice thing is I can track that for the last, 3-4 years now. How many people I was able to connect with, to do one-on-ones with, I should say, every single week in relation to how much money I made. And so I can trace that all the way back to making around $980, I think it was, $980 per one-on-one sit down. So here, let me count mine for last week. Let's see. Ooh, I did a whole bunch of just like really quick 15-minute intros. I did do those one-on-one, so I'm going to count those. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no, that one doesn't count. That one was real estate. So 8. I had 8 one-on-ones last week. Oh, let me come back to Zoom. So 8. Oop, is it going to let me work? Okay, so 8 one-on-ones. So thank you guys for chiming in. Those who have already, if you haven't, hurry up because I'm going to give some love. All right, here, let me bring this down here. It's going to be a little easier. So you guys can just stare at my nose, sorry. But all right, Autumn had 1, Esther had 2, plus 1 Cash Essentials entered. Congratulations, Esther. Gilda had 7 in the intro. Chuck had a goose egg. No worries, Chuck. Thank you for being honest with yourself mostly. Noreen, Marcia, Lorene had some goose eggs. Isaac had 1. Keely, 3 guests, 1 one-on-one. Congratulations. Don Croyle, 3. Ooh, with 1 sign up for an ICM. Great job. Great job. Scarlett had 2. Bobby, I have 2 in funding. Oh, I love that phase. That's like the work just started feeling because you're like, okay, let's keep them in that funding phase. Let's keep them excited. Let's keep them engaged. Like, it's like, what else can we send them? What else can we say to them? Like, give me a reason to call them. Like, literally, I think I might have said this one of these weeks recently where it's like, I'll just find a reason to be like, hey, I was just thinking about you. and call them up and just, tell them a story or tell them something like, yeah, I was just talking to a buddy and he was breaking down his deal, stuff like that. Super excited to work together, man. Let's see. Talked to 3 so far this week. Great job. On to Bobby. LaShawn, let's see. I signed an ICM so far this week. I have 1 guest registered for intro, 1 guest registered for Velocity Banking. David Rainey had a goose egg. How many goose eggs? I don't feel like I see David Rainey put up goose eggs very often, but no worries, brother. Thanks for being honest. Ann had 1. Sandra had 6 one-on-ones, 19 scheduled for tomorrow's event. Great job. Let's see. Berta had 1. Jenna, 1 essentials order funded. Congratulations. 1 guest to a live event. Ooh. David McIntyre, 40 briefings. Look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. Awesome. Great job. Jenna, the same day I had a goose egg last Wednesday when I funded an essential. Ooh, yeah. Oh, there you go. Had a goose egg for last week and then funded an essentials that same day. Reporting works. Great job. Thank you, Jenna. And yes, Sandra, great job. David, great job. Awesome. Good to hear from you guys. Cool. And you guys know the drill. And it's funny, I say this every week, and I probably because I've been saving them up because we've had some good stuff that just comes up. I do have some good stuff for you guys today, but let's help somebody. You know who you are. Come off of mute. Tell us what is the biggest way that we can help you. Tell us a story of a conversation that you had that you were just like, never seen that one before. What do I say to that? Or something that happened. I mean, you name it. We've always turned this into an awesome training moment, and it gives me these ideas. Like, man, I didn't even know to share that with people and how I do this or how I think. And we have a group event, so you know who you are. Come off of mute. Let's have a conversation, and let's see if we can help you. And everybody will be ever so grateful that you said it or that you asked it. So who do I have today? Who's coming off of mute? And I love it when people come off that I've never met before, because then I pick on them. No, just kidding. All right, who do we have? And if we got nobody, then I will just dive right
Daine.
into what I got. So
This is Chuck.
let's see, is this David or Chuck?
Chuck.
Chuck, what's up, brother?
I did that post at the house, and I had like 2 people I've talked to about the real estate investing. One of them, one
so
of them said
go
no,
ahead.
and the other one said they would, but I can't ever get back a hold of them. So
Cool. Well, just add them to the Facebook group. Like if they liked your stuff and they gave you the positive, then, and you know the add tag method, I assume. So add them to the Facebook group and tag them. And I mean, you're in that Facebook group, so you know what everybody's doing. You can see like they have a tag and then they say, hey, watch this. Like, this is one of my favorite people, or this is one of the guys I learned from, or this is somebody that inspired me. This is, I mean, something like that, right? Just add them, tag them, and then private message them that you did, and just keep going. I mean, you got also go back to anybody that liked your. I think you said you did a post about like an intensive or something like that. Post that and like it. Or sorry, not post that. You already posted that. Whoever likes that or commented on that, go back to that too and have a conversation with those people. And then just get into the mode. Like once a week, once every other week, just post something that, again, it's got to be eye candy. Like don't be like, hey, I'm at an event. You know, taking the selfie thing. Like, I mean, that's not eye candy. I mean, you'll get some people, but yeah, try to do the eye candy, the before shots, the after shots, the you know, just find a picture on Google, and if you see somebody that tells a story, I mean, go to one of the testimonials. I mean, even just go to the Renatus YouTube page, and grab all those testimonials. Hear somebody's story. You hear their story, and then you just go on Google and find a picture that looks like eye candy that kind of relates to their story for whatever or however, and then you just say, hey, I just saw a good friend of mine bust out how, bam, and then you do that like twice a month, and you'll have people that respond to that jump on that. Now the rest of the time you want to be like, hey, this is me, this is my family, and it's Facebook. Put your face on it. Take pictures of what you're doing that's just fun or whatever, you know, people you're talking to, or you're, you know, whatever. You guys get it. You guys know how to do Facebook. Cool. I think I saw one other person that was off of mute. Did you have a question, my friend? I can't remember who it was. I had both Chuck and who was it?
David, maybe?
David. That's right. David.
Yeah. Hey, Daine.
What's up, brother?
Hey, man. Calling from beautiful sunny California at 7:21 in the morning. Yeah. So, you know, as I'm on a blitz right now with James and out here. Yeah. So I presented profits to 23 people last week. And so I've been sending them little teaser follow-ups, and now I need to schedule the follow-ups with each one, right? So I guess what I'm working through in my head is I need, like you just pointed out, right? Send out some content to them to keep them live while I'm waiting to schedule that follow-up with them. Yeah, so there's that. And the other part is that I know Scott Rowe has an intro to profits Tuesdays, but I'm a little nervous to introduce my prospects into that intro session, because then I kind of lose control of the pace, if that makes sense. Meaning that, you know, that I've built credibility with these prospects. And when I put them in front of the Chicago team, I don't have control of that credibility even anymore, even though Scott and the team are awesome, right? Because I know them. But my first impression, it took me a little while to figure out Scott and the team. And now they're awesome to me. But for a first impression, I just don't want to, you know what I mean? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes and no.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a few more questions and see if I can pull out what we need to do here. So let's talk about that aspect. so if I am correct, you've got these 23 prospects and you've been talking to them about profits. Now, have you said the word profits and Renatus and all that stuff with them?
I have not. Actually, I gave Woody's
Okay.
presentation and
Okay.
have not even talked about the other classes yet.
Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. I just woke up, guys. Just for this.
It's
So
7:24 in the morning here.
yeah. I think I was up 3 or 4 times with that baby last night.
Okay.
It takes me 10 hours to get 6 hours of sleep. I feel like I'm less effective.
Yeah.
So you've talked to these people, you've given them that presentation. So if I'm not mistaken, you are trying to build your credibility with these people, or you have built your credibility with these people. Am I right?
I'm here. So I have built some credibility with them for sure. Yeah. Because I presented, I came in as an authority figure. It was a group of entrepreneurs.
And so you're worried about if you send them to his meeting, then that is going to pull from what you did or said with these 23 people. Am I understanding this correctly?
That's my concern.
Mm-hmm. So I will say
Daine?
this. It is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell David. I just want to tell you because Scott Rowe was the meeting that I've attended, and he literally sold me that day, literally. And I bought my ex combo. I mean that meeting changed my life because I sat on that, and that was Scott Rowe. So I'm just just saying. So, but there's gonna be.
Yeah, and I bet we could have a bunch of people that said the same thing. In fact, I have to say, every time I've listened to Scott Rowe, I'm just like, I made it right. I made the right decision. and buying Renata. So Scott he's a natural. He is so good at working a room. Now, here's what I think I think could be going on in the mind. It's that, you've been building your credibility. And so if you send it to them, then they are going to feel like you're just like sending them through a funnel, or if you just send them to Scott, then you're going to, am I right? Am I?
Yeah. Along those lines. Yeah.
Cool. So it will depend on how you pitch it. First question: have you actually seen Scott's Tuesday profits presentation that you would send them to?
I have.
Cool. And so that tells me something. That tells me that there is something in that presentation that you don't want them to see. And we don't necessarily need to pick it apart and break it apart. Am I right though? There's something in the presentation that you're like, or just an overall feeling, or the closing at the end, or something like that, right? There's something that you're like, I don't know if I don't know if I want my prospects to experience this aspect. Is that right? Because I'm sure the presentation is great.
It is, because I'm aware of who Scott is, and sometimes he has the instructors show up too, which is awesome.
Oh, cool.
So look at it this way: the crowd that I pitched to is a LinkedIn crowd, so they're very buttoned up, and a matter of fact, and just show me executive drive for the most part. Now, if I dug a little deeper, I'd find, actually, because I went through the drive with them, it's not all executives. But it's, put them in that, and maybe I'm wrong doing this, put them in that bucket, LinkedIn bucket. So that when on Scott's call, which I enjoy, but it's not a LinkedIn bucket, it's more loose, it's more grassroots, it's fun. See what I mean? It's a different style.
Yeah. You're feeling like these guys need to be like professional. These guys are going to want. They're going to want
and they can't be, because I'm familiar with them, right? I know that they are professional. But for someone coming new, they're going, "What the heck is this?" That's my concern.
Cool. Have you been to Michael's Profits?
No.
Does anybody know if Michael is still doing his Profits presentation?
Yes,
Anybody
every
on the line
Tuesday.
that he's still doing it every Tuesday? Cool.
Tuesdays at noon Mountain
So have you
Time.
been to that?
No.
Does anybody know if that has been recorded?
Yes, it's also on the
It's
Renatus
on
Facebook page.
Oh, it is. Okay, cool. It is
The
on the
Elevate
Renatus
page.
Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
So I should look at that.
So, cool. So, David, you already gave yourself homework. I don't even need to give you homework.
Actually,
so
that could be better because it's on demand.
Yes, yes. I personally like on demand, but that's my personality though. I like to just be like, hey, you're interested in this? Cool, let's meet. But before we meet, watch this video. And probably close most of my business that way. So, okay, so you got that homework item, but here's the thing. If you don't feel confident in any of the Profits presentations, I'm sure there's more that are out there. I think Sandy might have one as well, but either way, if you're not confident in any of those ones where you feel like my prospects need to see this, I mean, we got to figure out a way to get over that in our mind, or do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, looks like you're just fine on Zoom. You've got your camera on. You've got good professional audio. And so, if it comes to this, and this is what I did, because I remember thinking like, oh man, I really want my prospects to see this. And the person that was doing the intro, not that I don't like them, I was like, oh, I want them to say it this way, or I want them to say it that way, or right? Am I striking a chord here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
David, do you know what this means?
It means both.
This
I got
means
2
that
homework assignments.
This means that you're ready to put yourself in front of the room. The moment that you feel like a presentation should go this way or go that way is the moment that you start doing your own presentations, quite frankly.
So, right. Well, I've been in
Heavy
front of
weight
the
on
room.
the shoulders, right?
Oh,
Okay.
no, it's
Okay,
good. So that's how I got to
this will be
23.
perfect.
In fact, as I built up the 40 from last week, I mean, like, okay, I've said I'm going to do 5 a day to support James's blitz. This week it's 6 a day, and I'm already behind. But that nice surge of 23 in one day, that was awesome, right? So I was, hey, I'm onto something. I need to start presenting more to fill that pipe, like boom, each time. So I can do my own, but I can also tap into Michael and Scott because they are professionals, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even if you only use them as like, because again, it's all on how you pitch it. Even if you just use them as like a supplementary thing where like, you give your presentation and you say, oh, you know what? I've got a really good buddy that's doing this
like
with
that.
me as well.
And then I can edify them.
Yes. Are you cool if I send that to you? And then let's meet, because then let's say you got your one-on-one presentation down, and then you just say, cool, let's meet. You give them your presentation, and then you say, I would love to actually sit down with you one-on-one and let's talk about this. And let's see if I can help create a roadmap, whatever the objective is. My hope would be that you uncovered some kind of a goal, some kind of a problem to solve, something like that for these people. And so you say, all right, let's meet one-on-one. I think I can help you with that. And then you just say, oh, I've got another guy that's doing stuff like this with me. I actually would love to have you watch. He did a little presentation on this and how it works and stuff like that. Just so you hear it from 2 mouths. And we've all read the Bible, or I should hope we've all read the Bible before, by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Anyway, you have that person watch that video, but you have something scheduled with that person to meet, later this week or whatever. Or you send them to the Tuesday live event, whatever. Or you record your own, right? So,
okay,
this is
good. I can map this out.
Oh,
I'll map it out. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. And just for everybody's benefit, oh, let me actually share my screen. Share screen, like that, and bam. This is so good. Thank you, David. In fact, everybody comment in, thank you, David, because everybody needs to go, everybody needs to go through this at least once in their Renata's career, where it's like, okay, it's time to upgrade. It's time to take myself to that next level. So, all right, here we go. So what you need to do, let me say this. Every single person's brain, there's this path, right? So let's do this. So we got every person, and we've got the goal, right? We've got the goal. Now, oftentimes there's either little blocks or little things that you can't really see all the way through, right? You can't really see all the way through to your goal. And so what we need, and this is what we're trying to help David do, and this is what everybody needs to figure out. You need to be able to see with your eyes even if it's virtual in your mind, the mind's eye, whatever you want to call that, you need to be able to see all the way through. And so, for example, like I always share with people, like my process is create the intrigue. And so I have my process to create the intrigue, right? And so, David, give me one name of a person that you're working with.
Esther.
Esther. And
Esther?
so,
Estelle.
and so
Estelle.
David,
Estelle. Sorry.
Estelle.
Yeah.
Estelle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spell that wrong, I'm quite sure, but you guys can sound it out, okay? So in other words, David needs to be able to see Estelle go through his process of creating the intrigue, which he already did. He did that little briefing, and then he needs to see Estelle see some kind of an intro where the word Renatus is dropped and the word this costs money basically is dropped, right? He needs to see Estelle go through a process of some kind of a one-on-one where you uncover either pain or pleasure motivators that profits can solve, right? So either pain or pleasure motivators that education, community, all that stuff that Renatus has to offer, mentorship, good stuff, right? So in that one-on-one, that's what we're uncovering. Are we running away from pain, or are we moving towards pleasure? Now, I would imagine that if you're talking to a bunch of business owners, well, actually, it's going to be both, because business owners have pain. It might not necessarily just be money, but it might be like, oh my gosh, like this about my business. I hate it. And so they need to move away from that pain, employees or paperwork, admin stuff, bookkeeping, you name it, right? And so in that one-on-one, we uncover, are we working away from pain or towards pleasure? And then of course you've got that funding, right? So just so everybody can see this, David and everybody needs to see Estelle go through this. And where David was getting hung up was this part right here. He couldn't see himself sending Estelle to go and meet Scott. And for whatever reason, right? We're not going to say it's right or wrong. The fact is that he couldn't see it. He couldn't see himself sending Estelle to Scott, unless it is maybe worded differently. If you guys noticed that one of the things that David said was like, oh, well, if you do use Scott or Michael or whoever, it's really just as a filler, as adding an extra voice in their ear, because really what David wants to do is get Estelle to that one-on-one. And when he sits down with Estelle, he wants her to already know the word Renatus and already know that it could cost money, right? And so I hope this is helpful with everybody. Like, you need to be able to see the process from start to finish. all the way through. And not only just the process, but you need to see Estelle or the Estelles in your life. You need to see those people all the way from start to finish. And when I say funding, I mean like, they're like, hey, David, here's my credit card. Run it, brother. Let's do this. Okay, so you need to see Estelle handing you that credit card. And why did she give it to you? Well, because you figured out her pain or pleasure and how profits can do that. You introduced profits and gave her the idea, and you did your briefing, right? And so that's in its most simplest form. But also, if we think about that, like in your mind's eye, you have to see it all the way through, right? Or if you're not as much of, I can't remember what the ratio is, but most humans tend to be a little bit on the visual side. If you're not visual, then you need to hear it. You need to feel it all the way through with Estelle, right? So David, is this helping?
Yeah, it is.
Cool. So make sure, and like you said, map out your own process, right? Because you can see like this is just what I've created over the last, 5 years and I've got my process of how I create the intrigue. Sounds like you've got yours. I've got my process for how I will introduce the name Renatus and, this costs money, right? I've got my process for what I do when I sit down for the one-on-one. And I try to uncover that pain or pleasure. And then I basically just relate it back and say, this is going to solve your pain or pleasure, Renatus, and spending money with Renatus so that you get access to lifetime membership of education and a huge, I can't remember how many students are a part of Renatus now, but I would dare say we're over 30,000. There are thousands of students across the nation that they all can connect with. And those people are from all walks of life. We got millionaires, maybe. I would be curious to know if there are any billionaires or students in Renatus. And we have people that are just getting started, right? And so how valuable is that you can plug into we all call it the Renatus family here. You can plug into this where you've got people that are, let's say Estelle is right here. And if she is on the freeway, Estelle's on the freeway. I mean, she's got people that are way, way ahead of her that she can learn from. And she also has people that are way, way behind her that she can lend a hand to and be like, hey, here's how I got to here. And you know what's crazy? When you help somebody that's behind you, it propels you forward. It is the coolest thing. I mean, Bob Snyder's a freaking genius to create Renatus. When he creates this opportunity, I mean, this is what I'm doing right now, right? I volunteer to do this every single week. And no, this doesn't necessarily make me money. Like, I don't get paid to do this. And oftentimes most of the people that are on my calls are not even my own team, right? I got my team on here, but a lot of them aren't even my own. But because I volunteer to help other people that they're just on the freeway with me, it propels me forward, right? And so this is what Estelle wants. I mean, she just doesn't know it yet, but I guarantee this is what she wants, right? So anyway, I hope that helps, guys. David, does that help? And do you have any follow-up questions for me? And I would love to, if we have time, I would love to share this thing I've been saving up for the last couple of weeks.
It helps a lot because that process can be applied to across the 3 products. So it's not just profits, it can be essentials.
Exactly.
Because I get tripped up on, okay, so essentials, what are we going to do? Well, property tours, this, that, and the other. But those are just the deliverables on each one of those process steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that,
yes,
right?
And
you get it, yeah.
And once you get this down, I'm so glad you're saying this. Like I can tell that you are, and it's not even what I'm saying. I can tell that you are receiving like revelation from I don't care what you want to call it, infinite intelligence, if you're religious, then religious, whatever. I can tell that the ideas are flowing into your mind right now. And it's not even from what I'm saying. This is just coming to you. But one thing that you'll notice as you do this is in this intrigue phase, as you create this presentation, you'll actually start building this funnel in your mind of if they answer this way, then I'm actually going to take this person down the profits path, if you will. If they answer this way, I'm going to take them down maybe essentials or the full X combo, or maybe even the full epics combo.
Like that.
Right? And so one thing you'll notice is in that conversation, because again, the only thing we are doing here is helping people move away from pain or towards pleasure. And if real estate's going to help, if profits, if essentials, if, basically tax strategies and banking and stuff like that, or real estate, or the whole dang thing, right? I know me, I own the full epics combo myself, because that is what I figured was going to move me away from my pain and towards my pleasure the most. Go ahead. I got somebody off of mute. Or is it accident?
Hey, Daine.
Maybe Renee or Sandra.
This is Renee. I'm confused. Are you saying that you don't have the price and Renatus in the intro, or did I misunderstand that?
Yes. I do not like to tell people that this costs money. That's not my most fun job. I like to tell people after they know that it costs money and they still want to meet with me, right? So for example, let me show you guys. Let's see. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes.
So I am going to meet with somebody later today. His name is Ty Olson. Here it is. All right. So this was just my conversation yesterday. Hey, and he was like, hey, I'm not seeing the invite, whatever. And then I text him back and I say, oh, have you finished that training already? Because I scheduled the meeting first. All right. If I go to my calendar, I scheduled the meeting for today at 3:45 p.m. And that video basically is the video that's in the Facebook group that we all have access to. And I said, oh, watch this video before we meet. Okay. And so then I asked him, oh, did you finish it? This guy's a loan officer. So I say, I'm especially curious to know what you think about the last section where I bust out paying off homes in 5 to 7 years. Right. And so looking forward to chatting, jot down some questions. And he said, yep, I finished it. Actually, you got that part caught my interest and I was planning on asking you about it tomorrow. All right. So I know he already watched it, and I know that he saw the name Renatus, and that Renatus could cost as much as $23,000 to $28,000 max. And he still wants to meet with me. And
Okay,
so I'm just automatically going to assume that he's going to do this. Right? Go ahead.
So, okay, now I'm really confused. Okay, so you got the intrigue. That's the scheduling the meeting first, right? Or that was the thing that caught their eye. And then the video that you sent them to in the Facebook group, is what is showing them Renatus and the cost?
Yes. Yep. It's just a recording of an intro. I've sent out Michael's. I've sent out my own. I've sent out Ryan Black. I've sent out, right now the most prevalent ones are Michael's and my own that are inside of that Facebook group. So those are the ones I'm doing most commonly right now, but yes. So
you're saying,
I told Ty, go ahead.
So you're not doing it in the one-on-one. You're saying you want it done before they get to you in the one-on-one.
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
The one-on-one is only to close.
I see.
That's it.
Thank you.
The one-on-one is to get the order, to get to yes. It's not to say, here's what Renatus is. In my opinion, of course. The one-on-one is designed to figure out what's the goal. What's your pain? What's your pleasure that we want to either remove or work towards? And here's how Renatus can help you with that. But they already know what Renatus is.
So you're basically using you're basically using that as a filter sort of to knock
Yep.
out, if you're panning for gold, to knock out any loose dirt that wouldn't be
Yep.
a good fit for Renatus
Exactly.
and not waste your time.
Yep.
Cool.
Exactly. Exactly. So perfect. Cool. It's coming. I see, I can hear revelation coming to everybody. So cool. Let's see, what time is it? We got 10 minutes. Okay. I think I can share my little thought here that I've been saving up for the last little while in the last 10 minutes, unless anybody has questions. Oh, you know what? Actually, I was going to tell Ty's story. So you guys kind of met Ty. You heard his story a little bit. So here's one thing that I really wanted to share with people, right? Because yeah, I've been doing this for 5 years, and look how fancy this is. I mean, I got multiple colors, and I know. I mean, I can just see it with every single person. I can see it with Ty. You know, if I just remove the name here and I just put Ty right here, I can see it. You know, I created the intrig with Ty. I scheduled the one-on-one that I'm going to do later today. And I said, before I meet with you, can you watch this? He said yes, and he told me he did. And so we're gonna do the one-on-one today, and I'm gonna figure out what's his pain or what's his pleasure. I happen to know that I just already know that it's going to be pleasure, but this is gonna be a little bit of pain, because the thing that I uncovered in the intrigue phase was that he makes good money. I mean, he's making somewhere in the $20,000 a month as a mortgage officer, but he is afraid. And I was like, tell me more. He's afraid that he can't produce $20,000 a month because he has to work his freaking tail off, fingers to the bone, to make $20,000 in a month. And so he's always worried that if he doesn't work, he won't make that money. And so he's sitting there thinking like, I need real estate investing so I can have a buffer so that I know that for whatever reason, if I don't produce in the mortgages, that I still get cash flow from real estate. And so I'm like, okay. So, I mean, it's a little bit of both. This was what I uncovered in that intrigue phase. And so for him, I'm thinking either Epix combo or X combo is going to serve his needs the most, just based on this. Right? I haven't told him that yet, but he watched that video, and so that's what we'll be talking about today in our one-on-one. How we're going to help him solve that problem, where that real estate is going to give him that security blanket of he can go and just kill it in mortgages, and if he doesn't, it's okay. He'll be fine because he's got real estate that's backing him up, right? So, okay, now this is what I wanted to say.
Hey, Daine.
Yes, go ahead.
Just want to, let you know, because I'm a loan officer too. So if you tell him that he's going to be a much, much better loan officer when he has this education, because when we take, because it's like when we take our education to get the license, they don't really teach this kind of stuff. So it's really powerful. So I'm a much better loan officer now that I have the education. So just so
Yes, and
they're not easy to convince. So I'm one of the few that actually was sold in one exposure. You know what I mean? A lot of them are not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't. It took me like a month to be like, okay, fine, I'll do this.
Yeah, I'm working with my colleague, and I haven't been able to, get one to sign up. So.
No worries, you will. You just keep on putting that out into the universe, and you keep on. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Keep on going down this path. So here's what I want to say though, because in fact, you guys don't know this, but I actually spoke with Ty 3 years ago about Renatus. I didn't say the words Renatus, but we spoke about Renatus, and you guys know what I mean. I hope you guys know what I mean by that, where you talk about Renatus, but you don't say Renatus. You'd be like, oh yeah, my community, or you talk about we're doing real estate, or actually been learning this, and this, right? Whatever. That's what I did 3 years ago with Ty. I started sharing, I'm getting into real estate. And this is back when I hadn't done anything. but I'm getting into real estate, and I didn't, or you know, yeah, maybe I haven't done any deals yet, or maybe I did 1 deal or 2 deals or something like that back then. I don't know. In fact, maybe this was 4 years ago. This is a long time ago. Anyway, but I've actually talked to Ty. So here's the concept that I wanted to really hit on with everybody, just to make sure that you know, and this is going to give you confidence in every single person that you talk to. But if you guys have ever heard that concept, that you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can never say the right thing to the wrong person, right? We've all seen this before. So if we go off of this, and I go back in time to when I spoke to Mr. Ty Olson, that I'm going to meet with later today, Olson. I'm going to meet with him later today, but I spoke to him 4 years ago. He was just not, I could not say the wrong thing to the right person. I could not say the right thing to the wrong person. At that time, he was the wrong person. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't my fault. It just wasn't right for him yet. And it was so crazy because I actually spoke to him about this when I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago when we scheduled the meeting that's happening later today. And I was like, man, it's been like 4 years. Remember when we started talking about, you know, the real estate thing back then? He's like, oh my gosh, yeah. He's like, man, back then I was switching jobs, and I didn't know any of this stuff because he didn't share it with me yet. But he's like, oh yeah, I was switching jobs, and I feel like I was always like a week away from bankruptcy, just trying to make it in this mortgage industry. And, you know, I couldn't think about anything else other than figuring it out for myself, you know. And he's like, I remember thinking about, you know, you and telling me that you're getting into real estate investing. I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. But that's not for me, right? And again, that's not his fault. That's not my fault. I could not say the right thing to the wrong person. He had his head down, and he was going to go and make it big in mortgages. And in the last 3 to 4 years, that's what he's done. And I kid you not. So the reason I got reconnected with Ty, so that period of 4 years, and the reason I reconnected is because he went and he has made a name for himself in the mortgage industry, right? And so here we are 4 years down the road, and I'm talking to him again, and it's the same thing. I can't say the wrong thing to the right person, right? And of course, I'll find out later today if he's really going to go for this, and he's going to be like, holy crap, this is what I need. I mean, I've got a hunch that he's going to freaking love this, but you guys know what I'm saying. And oftentimes this concept, and again, I don't want to, how do I say this? I don't want anybody to think, how do I say this? It'll come back to me, right? It'll come to me how I want to say this. But oftentimes this will depend on you and your own progression. Okay? Because you will attract people to you that are like you, right? You will attract people to you that are like you. And so if you are progressing, right, let's go back to this freeway thing, right? So let's say you make it here, then you're going to start attracting people that are, you know, like this far behind you. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. This far behind you and this far in front of you. But when you were back here, you attract people that are this far behind you and this far in front of you, and vice versa. Okay. And so back then, Ty, he was the wrong person. He was looking for other things. I was getting started myself. He was getting started in something else himself, and it just wasn't meant to be. right? And never, ever should you think that that is it's fault. It's not your fault. You're just on the freeway and you're driving, right? But let me tell this story. So back then, almost around the same time, I spoke with a gentleman named Glenn. Same time as I was talking to Ty. Guess what? Glenn jumped on board and he's like, oh my gosh, right? I could not say the wrong thing to the right person. And Glenn said, this is awesome. I want to get into real estate. I want to do this with you, Daine, right? And so over the last 4 years, Glenn and I have done, I mean, I haven't counted it up yet, but I would dare say $2 million in real estate investing transactions together over these last 4 years. And again, remember, back then, I was nobody. Nobody even knew who I was. But I could not say the wrong thing to the right person back then.
So Daine, are you going to be bringing?
Daine,
are you going to be bringing Glenn to this conversation this afternoon with Ty?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
No, Glenn. I helped Glenn retire actually, and so Glenn is probably on a beach somewhere making passive income while he sleeps, sipping lemonade.
Oh.
And so, I mean, Glenn, right now, Glenn and I are together in, I would dare say, five to seven deals right now. And he is making passive income while he sleeps, or if he's awake, or whatever he's doing. I feel like every time I talk to him, he just got back from Lake Powell. He was out in Florida the week before that. He was over in Hawaii. He's retired, and he actually just retired. So I met Glenn 4 years ago. Actually, it was probably like 4.5 years ago, if I were to guess. Again, I was nobody. I had never closed a deal. I had never made money, nothing. And
so
Glenn retired about 6 to 8 months ago, after we had done most of this.
Oh, wow. So you can probably say if Ty would have signed up by then, he would be in Glenn's position right now.
Maybe. I mean, Glenn was obviously in a different space. He's older and he already had money. I mean, he already had hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. But I choose not to think that way. That it was the right thing that Ty didn't go for it back then. Like that's what I want people to understand. It is okay to say in your mind that, you know what, if they are not crazy interested and just dying to see this right now, that is okay, because they will see it later. And yeah, this one was a long one. It took me 4 years for Ty to be like, Daine, I've been following you these last while. Like, dude, I need what you have. I want to get into real estate investing. And he was the one that reached out to me, actually. He texted me and was like, hey man, are you still doing that real estate thing? I mean, and of course he knew I was, because he watches my Facebook. But again, back to Chuck, two a month, brother, 2 posts a month for the next 4 years. I mean, I got a lot more stories than just Ty that have been following me for the last 4 years, where they see me post on Facebook 1 to 2 times a month, something about real estate, right? So anyway, just food for thought there. But I can't remember who that was. Was it Gilda that said that Ty could have been here?
Yes.
So not necessarily. I mean, yeah, you're right, but he went and made something of himself in the last 4 years in the mortgage industry, and now he's like, I need
ready.
Yeah.
He may not have the money to pay at that time.
Exactly. He probably didn't, to be honest.
Right. Well,
I mean, I barely did.
Quick question, Daine, about what you were sharing last week. Your deals that we could use to post on our Facebook. Now, which ones of your deals? Because I went through your Facebook and I was like, okay, you have a lot of deals. So which ones that you made the 6-figure? Is there an indication when we go to your Facebook page that we could? Yeah. So which ones are those?
Let's see. So after all partners have been paid on all my deals, I personally have never had over $100,000 deposited after all partners were paid. So I just want to make sure that is clear, because some people say, oh yeah, we made $100,000 on this deal. Well, it got split up maybe 3 ways, and so yeah, I mean, there was a net profit of 100, but
right.
So let's see, I'm trying to think deals that did have a net profit of 100,000. Oh my gosh, I forget which one it was. I'm actually working on one right now that has a very, very high chance that we'll make 100 grand. Now, I'm not going to receive all of that, of course.
Right.
But
of course.
there will be enough to go around. We'll say that way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, but again, you don't need that. Because you can, I mean, I've got deals that we closed 30, 50, 60, whatever. And of course it was split, but, and is it because you want to do a post where like, hey, I got a buddy that just busted out how he
I was going by
and $100,000 net. Now
right.
you can say this though. Here's what you can say is that I got $100,000 discount on the deal, and that is compliant to say, because basically it is very uncommon that we will do a deal that we didn't buy for, I'm just going to throw numbers out here. Let's say we purchased for 200,000. If we buy a house for 200,000, we're going to sell it for 300,000 or more. Right. And so, I may, in fact, I think that's what you're actually talking about is because I always say $100,000 discount or $100,000 spread. And so, yeah, there was a bunch of stuff in the middle here. And so that we netted out maybe, 30, on a deal like this, it'd probably be somewhere around 30,000 in net profit. Okay. But because when Renatus was coming out with like, hey, don't talk about how much you make. Don't talk about, the money side. So I was like, okay, well, I will just start saying that we buy houses and we turn around and sell them for $100,000 more. And that I'm not telling you how much I make. I'm just telling you like, hey, we had enough room to make some money here. Right.
Okay.
So you could say stuff like that, $100,000 discount or bought a house and sold it for $100,000 more and they only owned it for 4 months. Stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, I was just going by what you were talking about last week. So that's why I went onto your Facebook right away after that.
Yeah.
And I said,
cool.
Okay, which ones, is he
talking
every about?
Deal. Yeah, every deal that you see on that Facebook, I don't post all of them. Some of them are like super Walmart, what do they call that? Lipstick on a pig almost. But the ones that do make it on there are gorgeous. I love to post the ones that are really pretty. Those ones for sure. I mean, we bought it and turned around and sold it for $100,000 more.
Okay.
Every time. So you can be confident. Like if that's one thing that you're going to say, then you can say, had a buddy just bust out how, and you guys all know how I did it. You own Renatus. We just followed the steps inside of the instructors of Renatus. So you can say, hey, I had this real estate investor bust out how he bought a house and turned around and sold it for $100,000 more in 4 months. Here's some before and after shots. I assume that's where that's where this is going, and that's why you're asking.
Yes.
Cool. Every single one you find on Facebook is gonna be at least that big of a spread, $100,000.
All right, cool. Okay, so I can just pick whatever the ones I want to post from there then.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
If you want to like milk it, then you're welcome to like do one this month, one next month. I would say try not, if you are gonna leverage or borrow my credibility, then don't do that every single time you post about real estate. Just do one and then maybe do one in 2 months or something like that. And find some other things to fill in the middle there. But yeah, you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here.
Okay.
So cool. Well, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sorry if you guys had comments. As I share the screen, I can't see them. If it was important enough, ask your question next week. Happy Wealth Wednesday, guys. Excited to get to work today. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daine. Thank you, Keely. Thank you, everybody.